All right, this is Maximus Analysis here at August 18th at the close, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we see that they didn't have any follow through today. Again, we don't want this low of 2090 to be broken. Okay, they stay around this 2093, 2092 area. We'll see what happens regarding the overnight action, but a lot of names got sold into today, so we'll check that out as we look at other names. As we typically do, NQ actually just staying sideways, and it needs to hold this 4450 area. You see it's the middle of the chop, and it hasn't followed through again. The volume was low on this pop-up, so again, we want to see how this volume increases if it's going to go to the downside, and a break below this low of 4533 is what we'll be looking at. Again, the YM, the Dow futures are probably the weakest of everything. You could see that we had low volume, and again, a nice little sell signal below this low of 17,435 would be the sell signal going into. Again, a break of this low of 17,300, and we could see some additional selling coming through. IWM is basically, it bucked its head up against and no follow through on the 200-day moving average. So we'll see exactly what that is and continue to look at that. We had CL actually gave a nice move intraday, but it sold off really hard into the close. So again, you could see from here, on the 15, it doesn't look that bad. So again, let's look at this midpoint and say, okay, we want to see if they're going to hold this 4220 area. Also remember that tomorrow is EIA report at 10:30, so be cautious if you don't get a day trade in by like 9. I usually by 9 o'clock, 9:15 the latest. I'll wait for the report to finish because it's usually very violent. And again, we have to respect where the trend is. Moves that were up today, again, you have Tesla that continued to, it actually broke above. So it didn't give a sell signal, and we'll see kind of what it does at this area. But it looks good so far, but they were selling a lot of stuff. So Apple, they continue to see if this is going to be a break of any low. Again, this buyer's volume is drying up in the worst way. They didn't follow through at all regarding Priceline. Priceline actually sold in, so we're going to see if they're going to break below this low of 1288 tomorrow. Maybe sell into things. We had Baidu that continuing to just flag and look like it has some more downside potential. There's really no volume right here. We also have the Dow. So the Dow had only components that were really up were Home Depot, which they threw up in the air, and then they had United Healthcare, which seems to be one of their usual I'm going to pop things up methods. But again, the things that were down were down were Walmart gap down. You had Disney still looking very weak. Again, this gap down, people that bought that, I don't see why you would do anything like that. But let's look at kind of where this pattern is right here. So you can see that this thing could break to the downside quickly, and we'll see how it goes from there. But again, the buyer volume has not been there to follow through this one. You also had Cisco that actually didn't look that good as well, and we'll look at other names. We'll look at AMT again. AMT kind of giving you a nice. It's actually pretty good. So again, you want to wait for some type of pullback versus chase, or you're willing to put your stop under this 98 area or 96.5 area. Again, if you're looking more on a long-term play, you look at the weekly. And you can see that, again, this has been going sideways for a while, but it looks like it might still have some potential for some upside if you're looking to trend follow. I'm doing this because a friend of mine actually is looking at that, and I wanted to give him some information regarding that name. But again, we had Netflix continue just to be sideways, and that doesn't mean you're short. You have Amazon. Again, this one is running out of gas, which we've seen numerous times, but is this time going to be the time where it breaks below this low? Break below the 512 area is going to give me some type of concern, but I would not short unless you're going to really be tight and say, okay, I'm going to short below this low, and your stop has to be really tight above that. So again, it's the high probability trade that you're looking for versus trying to just stay busy. Solar City still holding this area right here, but again, a break below 47, 40, 45 area means that they're going to continue to the downside. So we'll continue watching that name, but you can see that a lot of things on that Dow, the Dow is basically split in the middle, and the only two that were really up were United Healthcare and Home Depot. So they look like they're selling some of these tech names going into things, and we can look at GoPro. Again, GoPro has been broken for a while. But again, if you're looking at this, a hold of this 53 area is what you need to be done. So again, we'll continue to look at it, but it's not giving any confidence-inspiring type of movement for follow-through. And that's what's been kind of one of the really frustrating things with the market so far, is that you're getting these 1 days and then you're getting bipolar or no activity for the follow-through. The best follow-through we've seen is back here in July. We saw another one for only like 1 or 2 days. And again, you know, when I start having my friends that are swing traders talking about I'll take 1 or 2 moves, day moves, and I'll bank my money, it's choppy. So again, we'll see how this continues. And again, with the excuse me, with the midpoint here of the chop, we just have to see where they break this one. So again, they need to hold above this level, which is basically that level we've been talking about for months, which is the 2080 area. So we'll see they continue to have lower highs in place, and they really need to do something fast. If you're looking at an hourly, I mean, they came back here, and even if they break to 2105, they're going to have to do it with some type of conviction. And you can see right here that they're getting back to these old lows, and they need not to penetrate again. They need to layer and stay above these highs, and you could see why if you break it down on the hourly chart. So take care, keep your powder dry. Again, EIA report tomorrow, and we have FOMC tomorrow at 2 p.m. So again, if you don't see anything, stand down, man. Just stand down, because that could be very violent. Don't try to pick the direction, and we'll go from there. So don't try to be a hero. Don't put your bracket order in if they break above here, because again, with FOMC, EIA report, sometimes what they do, and it's very, very rough, is that you might not see, but they can widen the spreads even on the futures so that your stop gets hit even if the price doesn't get there. You'll just hear a ding and go from there. So again, if you want to take off tomorrow, or unless you see something that's really, really ripe and good for the taking, just stand down until, because they could chop this thing all the way to 2 p.m. And then violently whip everybody that's trying to just make this, you know, trying to pick the bottom or the top, and it becomes an annoying thing. So again, look to just observe, and I will continue until they show their hand. Take care.